Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at something really specific today, something that's just held this legendary status for, well, decades now. Classic RC buggies from the 1980s.
That's right. And when you talk about that era, for a lot of people, three names just pop right up: the Frog, the Grasshopper, and the Hornet. The FGH buggies, as they're often called.
Yeah, exactly. And these aren't just, old RC cars. They feel more like icons in the hobby. So the big question we're tackling is, why these three? How come they've stayed so incredibly popular, so revered for nearly 50 years, especially when the hobby moves so fast?
Right. It's a good question. We've looked at the source material to sort of figure that out. Our mission here is to unpack, the history, the design choices, how they were marketed, and all the bits that came together to give them this lasting status.
Okay, so where do we start? Tamiya, the company behind them, they weren't exactly newcomers when these arrived, were they?
No, not at all. Tamiya already had this solid reputation for quality, mostly from static models originally. Then, back in '76, they put out their first RC car, a Porsche 934, which was seen as really high-end, mixing-scale looks with RC tech. That definitely set the stage.
And the early 80s itself was this huge moment for RC, right?
Yeah.
Real boom time.
Oh, absolutely. The sources call it a golden age. You had better electronics, better batteries, making things more accessible, more powerful. And off-road buggies, they were just massive then, inspired by real desert racers. Tamiya didn't just ride that wave, they kind of helped shape it, blending that model kit building satisfaction with RC driving excitement.
Gotcha. And right in the middle of that, this trio lands. First up, 1983, the Frog. Described as an innovative trailblazer?
It really was, yeah. It brought in Tamiya's ORV chassis, this new stake frame design, lighter, more like tubes. Internally, it had a pretty unusual layout, and the body, it sort of subtly looked like a frog, you know? Tech-wise, pretty advanced, or 83 independent rear suspension, oil-filled dampers, which were smoother.
Smoother than the basic fiction ones, yeah.
Exactly. And a proper double wishbone front end. Plus, crucially, it came standard with a gear differential in the back.
Okay, letting the wheels spin at different speeds, better cornering.
Right. Which wasn't common then. And that diff apparently helped it win races. Sources say it dominated the '84 German Nationals. It was definitely positioned as a higher-end kit. Driving it was dynamic. Known for being a bit loose in the rear, needed some skill.
Fun, but maybe tricky.
Yeah, exactly. Though some early parts, like the rear dog bones, weren't super durable, but they fixed that later.
Then 84 rolls around, and we get the Grasshopper. The accessible gateway, they call it.
Tamiya was really clear with this one. It was designed to be the perfect entry-level kit. Easy to build, easy to drive, simpler chassis, a bathtub style, tougher, smaller 380 motor, so, manageable speed for beginners.
And the suspension was pretty basic, too.
Very basic. Rigid rear axle, swing axle up front, just simple friction dampers. That's what gave it that classic bouncy ride.
But that simplicity, that bounciness, that was kind of the point, wasn't it? Part of its charm.
Totally. The sources say it was an instant hit, one of Tamiya's biggest sellers ever, because it just opened the door for so many people. Sure, by today's standards, the handling might seem, well, terrible, but it was just plain fun to rip around. And that basic design was so solid and cheap to make, it became the blueprint for tons of other models later on.
Then later in '84, the Hornet arrives. Grasshopper's faster brother.
Yep. Used the same basic bathtub chassis, but with key upgrades. The bigger, more powerful 540 motor was the main thing. Plus, it got those better oil-filled dampers on the rear axle, even though it was still rigid, and a tougher polycarbonate body instead of the Grasshopper styrene. Definitely the next step up.
And this one is often thought to be Tamiya's single biggest selling RC car ever.
Which tells you everything, right? It hit that sweet spot, accessible speed for the time. The handling, well, with that extra power and the bouncy rear end, it was famously a bit of a handful, tended to spin out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But, sources agree that challenge, that slightly wild, jumpy nature just made it all the more entertaining. Building one, driving one, it's still seen as this core RC experience.
Okay, so beyond the mechanics, the marketing seems huge here. That character car idea.
Oh, it was brilliant. Using the animal names, shaping the bodies and colors and decals to subtly match the frog's low stance, the Grasshopper looking like it might hop, the Hornet looking kind of aggressive like it could sting. It created this appeal that went beyond just specs.
Yeah, and the box art. Those dynamic shots. Plus slogans like, "No guts, no glory" for the Frog, or the Hornet's "Anytime Baby," gave them real personality.
Yeah, it built this whole captivating world. Tamiya pushed them hard in catalogs, videos, really cementing that hobby-grade image. This wasn't just selling cars, it helped grow the whole RC scene.
So bringing it to today, Why do they still resonate? Seems like this mix of things, starting with the Grasshopper making it easy to get in.
Definitely, that accessibility was huge.
Yeah.
Then there's just the fun factor that comes up again and again. Their handling, even the flaws, it's distinctive. It's an experience you don't quite get from modern, super-tuned cars. And the build itself, that connection you get, putting it together piece by piece.
Plus, you could upgrade them, tinker with them, and nostalgia obviously is massive.
Huge. They're tied to childhood for so many people. And Tamiya tapping into that with the re-releases from 2005 onwards, genius, let older fans relive it, and crucially, brought these exact same designs to new people, often with little updates like modern speed controls. It connects the past and present.
And the community around them is still buzzing, right? Forums, vintage races.
Absolutely vital. People restoring them, modding them, just talking about them. Mention Frog, Grasshopper, Hornet in the RC world. Everyone knows exactly what you mean. You compare that to some others from the era, like, say, the Falcon or the Striker. Maybe they had some issues or weren't positioned quite as clearly. They just didn't hit that same iconic level as the FGH trio.
Right, that perfect storm. So their legacy is pretty undeniable. Cemented Tamiya, brought loads of people into the hobby, sparked creativity.
No question, they're just enduring RC icons.
So maybe the final thought here is, in a hobby that's always chasing the newest, fastest, most high-tech thing, what does the enduring appeal of these simple, almost 50-year-old buggies really tell us? Maybe something about the power of connection, experience, and just sharing something cool across generations, something to chew on.